joining the program, and this program also includes webinars, organizing webinars and inviting speakers from different parts of the world to speak about their experiences. We also have readings and editorial exercises, as well as technical support and information regarding Google, the search engine optimization, etc. So we're trying to equip these emerging journalists and young people who have backgrounds in politics, media, IR, etc., to equip them with the needed information to join digital journalism. Our website is a baby website. It's younger than less than 2 years old, and we are in Google News now. After 1 year of hard work, we got there. And today we are having Jeff Brown, who is hosting a show called China is Rising. And he will talk about his experience running the show, podcast journalism, the impact of podcast journalism, its importance, the topics he covers, the challenges he faces, the technical side of running, shows and podcast journalism, and why is it important today. As a website, Politics Today, we are planning to launch our podcast page very soon, and I hope that this discussion will be fruitful. Today, we are also joined by Dilara Uzar, who is the social media editor of Politics Today, and two of our interns, Ijam Salik and Nada Shakir. Please introduce yourselves, Dilara, Ijam, and Nada.
Hello, everybody. I am the social media editor of Politics Today, and I'm also writing news articles since March, and I am a graduate of political science from Bahçeşehir University. I hope this meeting will be productive for all.
All right, thank you. Who's next?
Hello, everyone. I'm Ejim Salik. I'm a senior political science and public administration student at Kent University, Ankara. I just finished my studies in the Netherlands, and now currently I'm interning at Politics Today.
Very good.
Okay, my name is Nada, and as I told earlier, I'm an Indian and currently in Qatar. I'm currently doing my master's in Gulf Studies at Qatar University, and I did my bachelor's in literature with journalism. And I recently joined Politics Today as an intern.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, listen, young ladies, let's start again with Dilara, and then just go back in the same order. In the next hour, what is the one thing you most want to know or understand? Let's start with Dilara. What is the one thing you really want to know?
The one thing that I'm the most curious about in podcast journalism is, for example, unlike written journalism, I mean, it's a big part of it as well. For example, in conducting interviews or getting valuable information about whoever you're interviewing, is in podcast journalism, you have to be very, engaged and basically very engaged in the conversation. Like, how would you say you would form that kind of connection and figure out how the conversation would flow in podcast journalism?
Okay, all right, very good. And now, Essam, please, what's the one thing you want to know?
I would like to learn about the future of podcast journalism, as we generally rely on mainstream media outlets, and I'm really curious about the future of podcast journalism, or whether if we will see a shift in the digitalized around the informing, gathering news out from those
All right.
outlets.
All right. And Nada?
Okay, for me, I think I've always been so curious, like how, the podcast is actually making the people, sit on some, so many stories, and people get to sit hours and hours. It's actually making, it's really interesting. So I've always been wondering why, how the storytelling is special, or how is it different from the other mediums? Is it the style, or the script, or what is it making so special unlike the other mediums?
Okay. Well, my name is Jeff J. Brown. I have the website, as Yusuf said, China Rising Radio Sinoland. And let me just give you a real quick rundown as to how I got to where I am today. My wife and I and our younger daughter moved back to China for the second time in 2010. And I was so amazed at what I saw, because we had lived there from 1990 until 1997, and it had changed. So it had changed so much, and it was just, I was gobsmacked when we went back in 2010 that I decided to start a blog. And that's a great blogspot.com, which is a Google platform, is free, and you only have to pay $10 to get to make the name your own. And I'll never forget, I started writing about everything I was observing, and I'll never forget when I got my first 100 viewers, and I thought, wow, man, I've really arrived. And today I get almost 5 million page views a year. So it inspired me in 2012, to travel all over the poorest parts of China. And I wrote my first book called 44 Days Backpacking in China. And it's a geopolitical, historical, cultural journey across China, 5,000 years of Chinese history. And I got my own website with WordPress, and I was having continual problems and cost issues with consultants on Fiverr, if you ever heard of Fiverr, and Guru. And they were managing my site, 44days.net, and I caught them crashing my site, making it look like I had been hacked, when in fact they were hacking my website so that they could make more money off of me. So that happened right about the second time I wrote my second book, called China Rising, Capitalist Roads, Socialist Destinations. And the Greenville Post, because they published my book, this second book, offered to host my website, and where I expanded into audio and later video. So I want you all to know, I don't just do audio, I don't just do video, I don't just do articles, I do all three. And because what I have learned is that people who listen to audio podcasts, and people who watch videos, and people who read texts are like three different market segments. They're like water, oil, and sand. They do not mix. So in order to have greater outreach, I typically do all three. Then I wrote my third book, The Big Red Book on China. And then I started a new second website, ChinaTechNewsFlash.com. I'll send you all these notes. I have nothing to hide. And of course, I realized after I published 44 Days, if you want to sell books or whatever, you cannot stop writing. And so I kept writing, and then the audio, and then the video. And just to kind of let you, and a lot of interviews, I interview a lot of people, and I get interviewed a lot. Tomorrow I'm being interviewed on a Russian channel, and I use YouTube and Brighteon for my videos. BitChute did not work for me. There's also Rumble and others. I was using SoundCloud for audio, but they started censoring me because I was reporting on biological weapons, U.S. WMD biological weapons in Ukraine. So they started censoring me, and I wasn't going to pay $130 a year to get censored. And now my RSS feed is in each post on China Rising Radio Sinoland. So, and it still gets picked up by aggregators, like Apple and others. And again, I'll give you all of these notes. I have nothing to hide. For audio visual editing, there's either Power Director or Filmora. I've used both. Lately, I'm using Filmora. I may flip back over to Power Director, but you have to have a video editor, and both Power Director and Filmora allow you to also edit the audio to do MP3s for audio podcasts. I'm very aggressive about promoting my work. I use Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Activate Humanity, Bootsy, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Gitter, Parlay, Gab, VK, WeChat, Flickr, and Telegram. So Reddit and Stumble Upon, which is now mixed, they shut me down, and I do get censored by Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. In fact, right now I'm on probation with YouTube. So if any of you want to start, like your own work, what I would do is you get a free Google account, blogspot.com. You can upload, you can write, and you can upload images. It's a great place to practice because it's free. And if you want to be like me, it's not cheap to do this. There's a lot of expenses involved. A website is very expensive to maintain and protect. My website, because I am so anti-imperial and anti-Western, my website gets tens of hack attacks a week, and people trying to crash my website. And luckily, with the Greenville Post, I so far, touch wood, I have not. I've only been down a few times for just maybe a few minutes. But it is expensive to start a website, and if it gets any popularity at all, you're going to have to start protecting it, and that is expensive. But you can start out and practice with your own website, like there's Wix, W-I-X, and web.com, and just play around and upload, load your blog from Blogspot onto your website. For China Rising Radio Sinoland, I use WordPress Premium, so it's a cost. It's a cost, and I use the free version for China Tech Newsflash, which I am no longer. I did over 100 videos about Chinese technology, and I just couldn't keep up. And it's a wonderful little site, but I just couldn't keep up, and so it's stopped now at about 100 and 104, 105 videos. I would really recommend all of you. It's free, and it's really taken over. It was Essam that was asking about the future. Substack, Substack, Substack.com is a wonderful platform that I have been using a lot lately, and I think so far it has not been subverted by the CIA complex like YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and all the others. And so in fact, I just sent out a Substack that James Bradley and I just did. It's really a great way, and you can see how many people read it. and you can upload videos. You cannot upload audio, but you can upload videos and then write whatever it is you want, below that. I do recommend that if you do open up a Substack account, is to make sure to get as many emails together of all the, because it's like a newsletter. It's like a newsletter that gets blasted out. And so once you upload a CSV file of all your emails, you promise that these people, accept to be, to receive your Substacks. But if you want to add more later in any kind of quantity, they make it much more difficult. So get all your emails of all your contacts and people you want to get started with Substack. And then after that, they are more reluctant to let you add names. I would like to say I really believe, and someone was asking how to connect. It was Delara who was asking how to connect. I answer every email and I reply to every comment on China Rising Radio Sinoland and Substack. And I don't care how, even if they're nasty, even if they're not nice, even if they call me an idiot and a traitor or whatever, I always answer people back politely and with empathy. I do not do it on YouTube and Facebook. I mean, it's otherwise I would never get any work done. And then I do want to point out to you, you really need to get over this idea that, in journalism school that, you're supposed to be factual and balanced. It has not been factual and balanced. The media has not been factual and balanced since humans began to organize into settlements, 10,000 years ago. Propaganda is propaganda. And so if you either have to decide, do you want to make money or do you want to maintain your integrity? And if you maintain your integrity, then likely you're not going to make as much, make a lot of money. I would like to share, where is it? How do I share my screen? Share screen. Can I do that? Screen. Okay, share. Let's see if this works. You all can see me. Wait, where is it? I want to point out to you what you all are up against. The CIA basically controls global media. I know it sounds, that can't be possible, but it's true. It's called Operation Mockingbird, and I call it the big lie propaganda machine. And here's a couple of quotes from two CIA directors. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. That was from William Casey during his first meeting with his staff in 1980. And then 10 years before that, the Central Intelligence Agency owns everyone of any significance in the major media. And that was CIA Director William Colby. So you have to, this is the problem. If you want to go mainstream and try to become a financial success in the mainstream, then you are going to be captured by the Western deep state. It's just the way it is. And so I don't make a lot of money, but the French have a wonderful expression. A clean conscience makes for a soft pillow. And so my conscience is clean and I sleep well. And so you have to, this is the real problem. And if you think you're going to go to the New York Times or any it doesn't even matter if it's a small newspaper or a small television station in Holland, like Essen was talking about, you are going to be captured. And and maybe you need to you got to make money, and you do it, but it will weigh heavily on your heart. Here's James Bradley, author of Flags of Our Fathers, and he said Westerners are brainwashed that they have a, quote, free press, end of quote. Our mass media are government controlled, then owned and managed by 8 transnational media empires in the USA, Europe, and Australia. They do not care about our interests, only those of the elites. And that is very, very true. And there's just all kinds of psychological warfare, all kinds of fake news, which is, gets into mind control. And I will also send this to you. You really need to read the interview that I did with Douglas Valentine. He wrote the book, The CIA. The CIA is global capitalism, secret gangster army. He was in the CIA and then got out, and a lot of people, he knew what was going on. And then the other one is John Potash talks about his explosive book, The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders, U.S. Intelligence's Murderous Targeting of Tupac, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley. They assassinated Bob Marley. Rappers and linked ethnic leftists. Really eye-opening, and it'll let you know what you're up against if you want to try to be to try to get into journalism with a clean conscience and a soft pillow. And then he had another one that he wrote about drugs as a weapon against us, the CIA's murderous targeting of the Students for Democratic Society, the Black Panthers, Jimi Hendrix, John Lennon, Kurt Cobain, Tupac Shakur and other activists. All these people were murdered by the CIA. And then the one that's really, really revealing that you really are going to want to read is Prostitutes in the Pay of the CIA, A Confession from the Profession. And Udo Aufkalt was a very well-known German journalist. And his pillow was so hard that he couldn't sleep anymore. And he finally divulged what had happened to him over the 30 previous years. And he basically was a prostitute for the CIA. And he was used by the CIA to promote the deep state's agenda in the German press. And he was working for Der Spiegel and all the big German media outfits. So I will send these to you. They're very informative of what you're going to be up against if you want to try to be true to yourself, and it really is hard. As far as let me see, it was Delara asked about how to connect. Well, the one thing that I do that I am very thorough about is my interview preparation. I create, let me see if I can find one. I'll see if I can find one here. I just sent out this Substack. Let me see, where am I? One Business. And also, I forgot to mention, I'm a co-founder and the curator of the Bioweapon Truth Commission Global Online Library. Let me see, let me go back to, I'm just going to pick one that Oh, not current folder. That won't work. All files. Okay, so you can see here, Jerome Irwin, I interviewed him recently, interview outline and questions. So you open this up and, you know, you can see I added to this later, you know, what I put, you know, his introduction. I get their biography so that I can read their biography when I introduce them. I always, you know, get their websites, their emails, any books and CDs that they may have to sell, you know, any social media. He didn't have any. And then I send them in advance questions. Now, he decided to sort of answer in writing, but he actually didn't even hardly use these because we had a great conversation. But then, so question number one, and then, you know, question number two, you know, much of your work seems steeped in First Nation cultures. Are you Native? So I send this to them well in advance. Here's question number three. Tell us about your 2 books and CD. And then so I send these, and then I say, this is your show. This is to, you know, to help get the word out about you. You can edit these questions. You can add a question. You can add questions. You can delete questions. I am here to learn about you and for the fans to learn about you. And so I do this, and then I always get a mug shot. I always get to promote them. Let me see here. Let me go here. Valentine. I mean, I do this for all of them. I always get their headshot. And Douglas Valentine. And so a quick view, and to promote them and for them to, you know, and to promote them, I always get their mug shot, and I do a montage of their headshot, their mug shot, and their book or their web channel or whatever, and they really appreciate it. I mean, you know, this is not about me, it's about them. Another thing is I do want to point out is that I don't get guests on the show to argue with them. Even if someone says something, I mean, I guess if it was blatantly racist, you know, but I've never had that problem, or, you know, blatantly anti, you know, some religion or whatever, you know, I might say, you know, I would probably say something, but I've never had that problem. But even if someone says something that I do not, you know, entirely agree with, again, it's their show, it's their time, and I want people to know about them. So I do not try to proselytize or evangelize, you know, my point of view, and I'm right and you're wrong. I want my guests to be relaxed, enjoying themselves, and having an informative, mutually beneficial, you know, win-win exchange. And so that's, you know, let me see, as far as storytelling, Nada asked about storytelling. Again, I think storytelling can either be written, it can either be audio, or it can be visual. And I go to a lot of trouble. I mean, I do green screen, videos. I spend a lot of time, setting up, doing green screen, and I use all kinds of images. And then I also do, in fact, I'll just show you, for example, let me just go back to this one. So I'm also doing cooperation with James Bradley. We do this thing called JB West and JB East present See You in The Hague. And so, I use visuals. I use all kinds of things to attract people's attention. So there I have my Brighteon video, and then I have the audio, and then I have a YouTube link. I hate YouTube because they censor and so, but I've gotten very good about figuring out what they will censor, and I try to avoid putting those on YouTube, and I just leave them on Brighteon, which does not do that. So you can see I really, to connect with the people, I even have these slides as a PDF file that they can download, and then I have all kinds of other the red ones you can click on. There's the Bioweapon Truth Commission. More information, sign up for Substack, and and I ask for donations, and so I don't make a heck of a lot of money, but it does, it helps pay the bills for me and my wife. That's really everything I've got. What I really would like for you all to do is to ask me questions for the next half hour, and so that you leave here satisfied that you've learned something that's useful for you. So can anybody ask me a question?
I would like to ask you a question. You said that you promote your content on a very thorough list of platforms. What do you think has been the most productive for you in the scope of social media platforms to promote your content?
Well, because of my political views are not mainstream, and I fight against the big lie propaganda machine, and I fight against Western empire, and I fight for social justice for the global 99%. I don't get a huge, well, I will tell you this, and I don't even know if the numbers are correct, because I know for a fact that YouTube, I have read their rules and regulations, and if they don't like what you post on YouTube, then they can suppress. So it show. I have over. Let me see. Where is it? I have over 4,000 people. I have over 4,000 people on my YouTube channel. But yet you'll see. I just, 129 views, 199 views, 161 views, 411 views. I don't believe those numbers. I do not believe that 20 to 30,000 people access that page where that link is, and they're not counting it. And I know also for a fact that the numbers don't count like on YouTube and Brighteon unless they are registered with YouTube and are on the YouTube up here, and they're on the YouTube, using the YouTube hyperlink. So when I go here and somebody here clicks on this YouTube, and you can tell I barely even recognize them. YouTube link, but please patronize free speech by subscribing and watching us on Brighteon above. So, but if you click on this right here, YouTube, and watch it, it doesn't count. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for the counter. I don't believe Brighteon's numbers either. So it's really hard to, I never use Facebook except to post my stuff. I've got, I don't know, I think a couple of thousand people following me. And again, maybe 10 or 20 or 30 people, connect with it or click on it or whatever. But again, are they telling me the truth? I don't know. What I do know, Instagram I'm using, I hate it. But I use it because our two daughters love it. And so it's the only way, it's the best way I can stay in touch with my two daughters. And again, I have no statistics. What I do know is that when I go down, see, like, Douglas Valentine, if you look over here, I got, 21,000 page views. That's what I care about, because I know WordPress is not lying to me. So this is really the only, this is my best barometer. And then I can see, I just put this up a little over 24 hours ago. Jeff J. Brown on Press TV explains how a Venezuelan plane can be seized in Argentina. I get interviewed by, television station, obviously not NBC or CNN or Fox or whatever, but, anti-imperial radio stations and anti-Western, like this is Press TV, which is Iran. But, in the last 24 hours, it's already gotten 2,400 page views. The one the day before, only 2 days ago, has already got, 4,266. So this is what I really care about. I mean, this is where I can see the results. And if I go back 2 or 3 pages, if I go back, there's 19,000, 24,000, 26,000, 25 to 24,000. So as after they stay on for a while, most of mine are getting 20 to 30,000. Well, safely, 20 to 25,000 page views, per article. And I think that's the most concrete way that I know I'm getting outreach. I only use social media. And another thing about Twitter, Twitter, because their algorithms have decided they don't like me. They've only stopped me. They've only censored 2 or 3 of mine over the years. But the number of followers can never go above 1,000. So I see people, oh, this person signed up and this person signed up and this person signed up and this person signed up, but my numbers are always 997. So what they're doing is as people sign up today, the people at the bottom of the list who signed up a year or 2 ago are being dropped off so that my numbers can't go up. So it's a battle. I was banned by Reddit. I was, this is just part of the game. If you report on, if you report, the truth about what's going on in the world. So I can't say any of them work for me, but I'm very aggressive. Immediately I do this. I put all the stuff out, and I do think it does. I think it does help, but I think probably the most powerful one right now for me is Substack. It's really, I think, probably the best thing going right now. And you can even try to charge money if you want, but I'm not going to do that. But I can, where is it? I can just show you here on Substack. Posts, like so here, this I can see, for example, Press TV. I got 110 minutes watched. I have 7,216 people receive the email, and I had a 12% opening rate. And I can go back and I can just pick one. And 18 hours. 18 hours here, not counting YouTube and Brighteon. 7,152, 14%, which is quite high. I will also say that I have done the statistics, and not only do I get 5 million page views a year, but I average 2.5 to 3 pages per view, which is quite high. In other words, what that means is people aren't just going to my website and going click, 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 and then leaving. They stay and they read. They stay and they, hang out for a while. So that, that really worked, here's another one. 555 minutes watched, 15%. Of course, the numbers go up because it's been there longer and longer. But hope I at least partially answered your question, Delara. Who else has a question?
I'm just wondering, since you told about the censorship, how do you deal with that? So many of that, but still you get censored. It's total demotivation, I would say. So
no, to hell with them.
Really?
I mean, what are you supposed to? We live in a simulacrum, if you know that word. It's like it's like a plastic world. Americans and Westerners are brainwashed, that we have freedom of the press and freedom of expression, and they're just totally brainwashed. In fact, I don't know if you ever saw the Truman Show, but I actually, you were Jim Carrey in the Truman Show, and in the Beatles, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And you either get it, you stay in that matrix, and you watch CNN, and you read, you listen to NPR, and you watch and listen to BBC and The Guardian and all these other CIA controlled mass, mainstream media, the big lie propaganda machine, or you just keep going. And so forgive me for using this word, but there's a very famous expression in English, and we say, "Don't let the bastards get you down." Don't let the bastards get you down. In other words, don't let them defeat you. And so I get people who contact me regularly. Thank you, Jeff. You opened my eyes. I am 68 years old, or I am 23 years old, and I never knew any of this stuff. And you really have helped me, and blah, 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 blah. And now I understand how things work. So I'm maybe not getting, tens of thousands of people to be unbrainwashed. But every time I get one of those, I realize that, that my work is helping. And if I get censored, well, screw them. I don't care. Reddit canceled me, Mix canceled me, and I'm on probation with YouTube. And although I've gotten smarter and I just, it's okay. As a friend of mine said, if you are communist, socialist, or anti-imperial, be you a person, a government, or a country, then you are walking around with a huge bullseye on your back. And what I call the trillionaire, dictatorship, the dictatorship of the global capitalist trillionaires will do everything and anything they can to destroy anybody in any government or any country that is not a prostitute for them to be occupied, to be exploited for their natural resources, their human resources, etc. So it's just part of the job. You know, I could work for CNN, and I'm going to have the same thing. You know, report this, put this article under your name. You know, it was written by the CIA. There's always, you know, you can't say that, you know, you're fired. So there's always going to be choices, and there's always going to be challenges, whether you work, you know, for the white dragons or whether you work for the dark dragons. So it's just part of the job. Another question? Anybody else have any more questions? Nobody has any more questions? Okay, is Yusuf there? I don't know if he's there or not. He was talking about going to see his major professor for his PhD and leaving his thing on and then coming back.
Yeah, he told me that he needs to see his supervisor, so he left earlier, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, if there's nothing else, you know, thank you very much for showing up today, and I hope you found it useful, and I hope you found it. I hope I answered some of your questions. And
yes, thank you very much. It was really informative for me. Thank you.
I will send these files to Yusuf so that he can email them on to you. The two that I was using.
If we do have any further questions, like in the future, is there any like email or contact that we can reach you from?
Yeah. My email is right there at the top of my website, because I do not. Let me see. Writing, China Rising. It's right there at the top of my. It's right there at the top of my my website, jeff@brownlanglois.com, and so just click on that, and you can contact me. Did you hear me? Is that? Do you understand?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any final questions? If not, then I guess I do not use. I don't know how to shut this thing off here. How do we? Hang on. Do you know how to turn this thing off? I don't know.
It'll be on the top.
More. Stop. Leave. All right. Well, young ladies, good luck with your further studies. Good luck with your careers. And if you ever start a blog or start a website or start doing vlogging and interviewing, let me know and I'll take a look. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. And
really nice to meet you.
A nice Buddhist bow, since I lived and worked in China for 16 years and traveled all over Asia. You all get a Buddhist bow. All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.